Welcome to Rock Talk, the official podcast of Rockhurst High School in Kansas City, Missouri, where we explore the voices, values, and vibrant life of our Jesuit college prep community. Hosted by the admissions and marketing team, each episode features conversations with students, faculty, alumni, and special guests as we share stories of academic excellence, faith, formation, brotherhood, and service. Whether you're a prospective family, a proud alumnus, or simply curious about what makes Rockhurst unique, this is your inside look at life at the Rock.
And we're back, folks. This is Steve Redmond, Director of Admissions and Marketing. Got Beth Van Dyke in here, the other Director of Admissions and Marketing. And we got two special guests with us today, which we're excited to talk about. We got Jim Kopp and John Oades of the great class. Did I say that right, gentlemen?
You did.
The great class of 1967. Fellas, we appreciate you being here. And why don't you introduce yourself to the community and the listeners and tell us a little bit about what's going on right now in your life.
Well, my name is Jim Kopp. I graduated, as Steve said, in 67, and it's been a whirlwind since then and enjoyable. I joined Rockhurst my second semester, my junior year, coming from St. John's Seminary, which a lot of the young listeners would not understand what St. John's Seminary, because it doesn't exist anymore. It was a high school seminary, which we refer to as a minor seminary.
Okay.
And that's where my beginnings of high school life started, and it was just increased so much more when I came to Rockhurst. We took it out of, let's say, more of the religious environment into the life environment by coming to Rockhurst and learning more and more about giving for others, doing for others, and had some great teachers and confidants. Father Martins, who is, I don't know where he is today, but he was one of my religion teachers, or people would know as theology today, was phenomenal. And my life evolved so much while I was at Rockhurst for a year and a half, I decided to go back into seminary, and I must have been crazy because I decided after 2 years to come back out.
Discerning, always discerning, right?
Yes, exactly. And the basis that I got from Rockhurst continued to grow throughout my professional life, my married life. To today, my partner in doing a lot of things, John Oades, we work with Rockhurst boys freshman year, young men, in Day for Others, which we have the privilege of using their talents, their strength, and giving to others in the community one day a quarter, which is just phenomenal. So my life started at a very young age, 77 years ago.
Still young.
And yes, and I'm, as Beth said, I'm still discerning.
Yeah, there you go.
And there's so many things that keep popping up from that. And I'm retired, and Rockhurst just gave me the basis to continue giving back to the community. And by letting us share with the young men, the freshmen, it encourages me as I see them happily work within the community. And so that's where I'm at today, is trying to find more ways to be involved in the community. And Rockhurst is, they always have their phone line open, so if you need to do something, true. Call. But anyway, it's great.
Yeah. What about you, John?
Well, I'm John Oades, and Jim just went through the entire agenda, so thank you, Jim. I think he said it very, very well. Obviously, I came to Rockhurst my freshman year from visitation grade school, Catholic grade school, to the Catholic high school, and on to Rockhurst University, or college at the time. And, as I look back at starting here, it was a no-brainer. We were going to go to Rockhurst. That was what folks wanted us to do. That's what I think I wanted to do at the time. Except that, back when we were all thinking about it, Rockhurst High School was at 52nd and Troost. We lived at 52nd in Maine.
Okay.
So it's a, cakewalk.
Yeah.
It would have been a walk. And then they had to go move it out here. And that almost scratched it for us. But, we worked it out. And I can't say how glad I am that that's what happened. Because Rockhurst that's all we thought about, really. I was involved in some sports, primarily sports, until I hurt my body too much and got out of it. But, it was just such a good experience and that's why I think Jim and I get involved so much these days. I'm the chair of the alumni volunteer group, which is another challenge in and of itself, getting people to come out and do these activities but the activities are so much fun. I mean, they really are fun. Jim mentioned Days for Others for the freshmen. And the freshman retreat and the alumni tailgate party, they're all really, really fun. And I'll put a little plug in for volunteers. I urge you to come out and try it. You'll like it.
Yeah. That's what we hear. And on that note, as we were talking before we got on air, this 4 episodes is about giving, and whether that's time, talent, or treasure. And, you guys have given a lot. And, I heard Meredith Flores told me, you guys been rolling tough for a long time, in that capacity too, giving together, just living life together.
We do. And we enjoyed it. And I think I would tag on what Johnny said, that we always thought about going to Rockhurst. That was the thing. But, since going there and now where we are in our life, we understand what it means to go to Rockhurst. We don't just think about going to Rockhurst. We think about being part of Rockhurst community and being, to us, more well-rounded individuals because we came here.
Right.
And we understand what Rockhurst is. It's not say, we're thinking about going to Rockhurst. We understand what it means.
Yeah.
Which is why the giving part is so easy to accept and to participate in, and whether it's financial or time, as you've already said, but it's just a norm. It's just normal for at least, Jim and I and a lot of the guys. The class of '67 is fairly involved.
Yeah,
we got a good group of guys that get together every month, either for lunch or for happy hour. I couldn't do without that. And I think it leads us into the giving of the financial part. I don't think I could sleep well at night if I wasn't, participating in that.
Yeah. I got a question for you guys. As a young alumni and also a gentleman that came through Rockhurst, because I'm impressed to say this, because what's the key for you guys as friends to stay connected the way you have for so long?
Oh boy.
Can we go off air?
Do we have to be honest?
Like Johnny said, we started in grade school. And we graduated in '63 from grade school. I mean, it's been going out ever since. And
we still like each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I have to say that as we discerned and evolved, what we learned and what we did together is what glues us together, and that's our faith, our religion, and our community. We have the faith, but it's the community that supports it. And I mean, when Johnny says, we do things, outside together, we do a lot of things outside together that we've been friends with from '63. I mean, we have a little group that we get told about a project that could be done if you guys had the time. The class jumps in and they do it,
Yeah.
And I really say it's the class of '63 from visitation.
Okay.
Not to be, biased or anything, but yeah.
We literally grew up together. If you can imagine that, and we're still talking to each other.
Yeah. I think that's one of the powerful things that I've observed as a non-alum is that bond. I mean, I went to St. Teresa's and to St. Elizabeth and have those same kind of bonds with my classmates there. But my dad, for example, goes to lunch once a week with his Rockhurst classmates, and a lot of those are his St. Francis classmates. And he too would agree that the move out south was a little bit rough for a lot of families. And what's interesting even about that is one of the things that Steve and I encounter in the admissions office today is still that transportation, so getting to Rockhurst, is sometimes the biggest hurdle for families. So you would think it might be financial. You think it might be maybe different beliefs or philosophies. It's not that. It's sometimes as simple as, how do we get here? And so, having people like you that come and share your stories reminds us that this has been something that has been a continuing thread and something that we can still help families with. And a lot of times it's building that carpool right out, those neighborhood kids that then become lifelong friends because they drive to school every day from wherever in the city they're coming from. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I think that when we talk about the strength of Rockhurst alum to each other, a little incident happened one time. I was on a plane coming back from a business trip, and as you said on a plane, you hope that maybe I can talk to the guy next to me,
or the girl,
the guy.
He doesn't want to get in trouble.
And we're talking, and we exchange, and he worked for Posanelli and was not a Rockhurst alum or anything. We're talking, and he says, one thing I got to say about you damn Rockhurst alum, you are tighter than my fraternity in college. I said, well, you're right. Wherever you go, if you're in a new city and you find a Rockhurst alum, all of a sudden you have friends and community there. You're not alone. And to me, that's strong about what this school, not the building, but the people in it, build between each other.
Yeah. And that's what we always talk about, trying to get these young men to understand that sooner. Like that's, and honestly, that was a thing that, I left Rockhurst, and, it was a great time. It was very formative for me and all of the stuff. But I never stayed connected, and life accelerated pretty quick when I got out. But it was like, oh man, the older I got, the more I appreciated what I got from this place. And the more I was seeking to, in little ways, I would come back and speak here. I would shoot a video. And now that I'm here, I'm like, guys, let's just move through all of the foolishness and the awkwardness and all of this. And just trust me, just press into the brotherhood now, because you can't even fathom how deep this is outside of here.
Right.
You just need to trust the folks and you guys too, and I'm curious, I guess that leads to a question of, with your involvement, you said with the freshmen and the stuff that you do here, when we're talking to those other alumni, how have you seen your presence, your wisdom, your perspective impact our guys in the building?
The students?
Yeah, the students.
That's a great question, and I'm not sure we can really answer, because we come in and do these events, then we leave. We then come back and do another event, then we leave.
Gotcha.
I can only hope that it has an effect on them, because we don't even get an evaluation, so to speak, when we're done. But I have to think we're making an impression on them. Had a couple of guys, I guess, come back to us through other channels saying, that was a great deal. I'm glad these guys are here and that kind of stuff. But I just got to hope that we do have the impact that we think we do.
Yeah. I will say, I got to do service with you guys for Freshman Day for Others at St. Therese a couple weeks ago at St. Therese Little Flower. And I drove, the van, and that's where you get all the good conversations, in case you're wondering, is driving the van. But, they did talk about how cool it was that you guys are still such good friends. I mean, that was something that they definitely took away from that day was, I think that's really cool that they still hang out together, is how they put it. They still hang out together. So they like that. And I think, too, watching you joyfully give back to the community and seeing kind of you putting your all in makes them buy in more. And I see that anytime we have our alumni at those service sites, because I mostly go to the Police Athletic League. And every so often we'll get an alum that comes there, but a lot of times our alums go to the bigger sites like Kansas City Public Works and things like that. So when I see an alum come and they kind of set the tone for, they're in there with a shovel, they're in there with getting their hands dirty. It kind of, for some of the boys that maybe aren't used to a life of service, they will get used to it.
I always say they have a hard time spelling LABOR.
That is correct. And some don't know how to use a push broom, but we learn very important skills in that beyond the importance of giving back. But I think seeing you guys and having you lead by example definitely has an impact. So you are making a mark, whether you get a formal evaluation or not. I'll give you one, and it's an A+. So
Well, thank you. And I think we do get an evaluation because we keep getting a call to come back. And
That's
do
true.
something. So,
that is true.
And we
at
feel
least we
so
haven't
good
been
about
kicked
it.
out.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to have too much of a feedback.
Yeah.
Because it's as I've said already, it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
And I know the kids are getting stuff out of it. The freshmen, they're not supposed to be called kids, but we just don't hear it. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I know we do.
Yeah. And I know you guys have helped with a couple of admissions events, and we always appreciate having alumni like at Night at the Rock, handing out posters and things like that. Because I think, again, when both prospective families and prospective students see you guys as kind of still engaged, still excited to share about your experience at Rockhurst. We had Spencer Hardwick speak this year, who's an alum at Night at the Rock, and it was great because I think what it shows parents is this is what your son can be, And I think every parent wants their kid to be someone who comes and gives back, who can make eye contact and shake a hand, things like that. And they see that when our alums come out to events. So I know this office in particular appreciates your contributions for sure.
And John, I want to ask you a question. And you're the president of the alumni, or is that? Forgive me.
I'm the volunteer chair.
Volunteer chair. What are some events coming up for alumni? Do we have any coming up?
There's the alumni spaghetti dinner.
Okay.
Father Percelli, all alumni spaghetti dinner. I got to think about that now.
Yeah. Now our Rock Day of Giving is coming up, which is a big alumni event, trying to get as many alumni involved at whatever level they can be involved, which I think is great.
We've come in to make those calls, Jim and I both. I don't know if we're going to do it this year. We haven't been attempted yet.
There you go.
But that's right around the corner as well. And then
Cool.
We'll have our own special alumni, or not alumni, but class Christmas dinner.
Oh, that's great.
And then there's the alumni Christmas thing also. So I forgot about that. So. Okay. I didn't write it down, so I can't remember.
No worries.
Yeah, and I know. And is that the Christmas thing? Is that where they do the pizza party and the young alums come back that are recent grads? Is that one, or is there two? There's probably more than one.
Well, yeah.
That office is busy. So Meredith's doing a great job. But yeah, one of my favorite things to go to is that they do a pizza party, and they invite like the last 2 years, I think, of students who have graduated. And so for someone who's been here for 7 years, I like to go back and see what the boys are up to and where they've landed and how they've landed. And overall, great reports always coming out of that night. And I think they really enjoyed the chance to be back together, which shows you something.
What's that Jesuit program or JFAN or something more?
Oh, yeah, JFAN.
Is that it?
Yeah. So there is, and that's through the Jesuit Schools Network, but it's pretty much like a Jesuit-wide alumni network, which is great. So that's a way that recent and grads from any year can get involved. But the other one I like, and right now we've talked about it a couple times in this podcast, but it's getting revamped, but it's called Alumni Service Corps. And what it is it's a chance for alums that are interested maybe in the field of teaching to donate 1 year of their time to come and teach at Rockhurst. And then they get put up in our ASC residence, which is right above our auction office, and get to live on campus and participate in everything. And they really do participate in everything. They work pretty hard that year. And as a lifelong educator, I think it's really an important program. And I understand in today's economic environment, it's a little bit harder to donate a year of service when you've got college loans and things like that. But my hope is that we can get that started up again, because not only do I think it's a great program, but I've gotten to meet some really great people through that who have come to work at Rockhurst and continued teaching, which I think is great because we need more great teachers. So
maybe a little supplement to that is you could look at it, how can I use alumni who are retired, not maybe teach on a formal basis, but maybe to participate in some seminars with the kids instead of letting that talent sit out there and work just on the younger kids for the teaching give back, maybe we could be a more formal thing of getting the alumni together and doing things like that.
That would be great. Yeah, I know Meredith and Tiffany Rennie, our librarian, have started a alumni speaker series, which has been pretty successful. They've had people in from all different walks of life to come and talk about their experiences in the professional world. But I think expanding that, I agree, would be great into more of a, not just a talk, but maybe a little bit more of a seminar situation, which they learn something from it. So
exactly.
Maybe you want to go into sales. Well, we're going to do a whole seminar on what I've learned in my,
sales
40-year sales career, as opposed to what you're going to hear in a college classroom, which is a little bit different. Yeah.
And
Always.
Just curious too. Like, so you're retired. You're both retired. What field did we retire from?
Well, I was retired, and how long do you have? I've had an interesting career. I started out at the police department.
Okay.
And then I went into corporate security with Phillips Petroleum in Oklahoma. And then the last company then I was in Houston helping a friend of mine get his network security system set up.
Okay.
And then before I retired completely, 27 years, I was with a company out of Montreal where we produce yeast and bacteria for the food, health, and any industry that would use yeast and probiotics throughout the world.
Wow.
Very cool.
And I was almost that exciting. I was in sales and marketing roles for building materials manufacturers, siding and OSB, if you know what that is, trim and decking and all that kind of stuff. And worked the two-step markets for a long time, had a region that some guys reported to me, and then got into the national account side, the Lowe's, Menards, Depot, and the real tough people to deal with. So quite an education, and I retired in 2018.
Okay. Now you guys get to do whatever you want to.
Yeah, and we're busier than we've ever been working. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I remember my dad said he was busier than anything when he retired. I said, how could you be busy? You're retired. Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll put a plug in real quickly for you asked what's coming up. The spaghetti dinner is coming up. And I don't know when this gets out on the air, but
it'll be out next
week.
Yeah, next Monday.
Well, come on out then. November 6th.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of signups, but then a lot of people always come.
Show up.
They just show up.
We are
and
a
that's
pretty
fine.
open door policy for the most part in this building.
But I urge you guys to come out and banter with your other alumni groups and other friends and people you haven't seen for a while. It's really a great event.
Cool. I'll put it on my calendar.
Yeah. Oh, you don't already have it on?
I was like, wait a minute.
He wanted a formal invite from John.
You're formally invited, Steve.
Thank you. Love it. I love it.
So what part of this series is also around giving. And so one of the questions we're asking kind of people as they come in, is there any particular area here at Rockhurst that you feel particularly passionate about people giving to, and that can be anything from scholarships to facilities to programs, anything like that you feel passionate about?
I think it's just given to the Erie Fund in general, because I ask myself that all the time. What do you really want to contribute to? I just want to contribute to the school. Let them put it where they need it most. So that's what I always, just direct it that way.
You're everybody's favorite kind of donor.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's also talents and besides treasures to give. And I go back to when my youngest son came here, and he would talk to some of his cousins that were coming. And his thought to them was, get involved in everything from day one. Then you'll know what Rockhurst is really about.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I look at also and given as people, as friends, alumni, donors. Do whatever you want to do in the way of giving, but give somehow. Time, talent, treasure.
Yeah.
And even if you're a young alumni that are, you just graduate, give $5, if you can't do anything, just to get into the mood and habit of doing it. But I wouldn't restrict anybody who wants to give something to the community here to be involved in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Great. Money is always definitely,
Mhm.
I always say, once you're born a Catholic, you're going to be given money. There's no way to justify it or anything. Just give it, write the check and go, but be there for other things. And whatever helps you feel good about it, it helps the school too.
Yeah.
One thing that I've talked with Dr. Marty about is that I came from a fundraising background. So my first several jobs were working on the advancement side at the university level. And one thing I learned, I was working at the time and planned a major gifts. And so a lot of our giving centered around getting different foundation matches and corporate matches. And a lot of that has to do with participation rates. So whether it's people that are actively engaged in your community, giving back time, that's one thing that they look at. They look at just people giving overall. So even if you're giving $1, that's one participation point in the favor of the university or school. And so I think that's a really good point, that it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter how much or what you give, but the fact that you're actively participating in the community and giving back to the community is going to help not just run the day-to-day things that you see. I mean, you guys come in and help tremendously in that area, but also just helping us to really promote Rockhurst to agencies that can really help support some of our student initiatives. I mean, alumni have connected us to many important things like the Black Community Fund, which we get scholarships for our students from that. The Hispanic Heritage Fund was also an alum that kind of introduced us into that community. And so any chance we can get, I think, to engage better with our alums is awesome.
Yeah, and I think, for the listeners more than anything, because we in this room have a stronger sense of it, but it's starting with strengthening your relationship with the school. That's what the connection is really about. It's like, okay, yeah, some people are giving money, some people are giving time, some people are coming to do seminars, but like strengthen the relationship with the school enough to where you can figure out, oh, this is how I can give or what I want to give.
And that means just show up.
Just show up
just
to the spaghetti dinner. Right. Show up to a game. Again, we got to relatively, come up and say hi to somebody and just start laying that foundation. If you are, again, like me at a time, like you're just a little, life maybe swept you up and you got disconnected, get reconnected. It's actually a lot easier than you would imagine, because as we had with, our guest last week, there's always something.
Yes.
This, again, I want to dispel this idea that, we don't need help or we don't want help or we just got this whole thing. That's the polar opposite of what the reality is, and it's the same expectation we have in these walls. What gifts and talents do you have to enhance our community? And so, I encourage all the alumni, reach out, somebody will answer the phone.
Well, I think too, what Dave and the president, they do by traveling around the United States. I think that's a cool program where you set up visits at different cities to help reconnect if you haven't been connected for a while. Yeah. And again, to spread the news of Rockhurst and the Jesuits. And I think it's a great program.
Yeah, and it's really, I think, and I've been really encouraging our young alums that are still in college to attend those in those cities. So like when they come to DC or when they come to Dallas, to go to those, because like we said, part of the perk of the community is the alumni network. And if you're a young kid and you're looking for an internship opportunity or even just advice, I'm debating between going into marketing or business. This is what I want to do. Which path do you think might be better? I mean, those are great opportunities for our students to do that. So I'm in agreement with you and meeting them where they're at, not expecting them always to come back here, which is great.
That's where the Rock Connect,
I
think will make a big difference.
Can you talk about that a little bit, John, for the folks at home that don't really know what Rock Connect's all about?
Well, it's basically a networking program where we're trying to pull people in to connect them with people in the industries that they want to be in. Mm-hmm. Particularly the newer graduates probably are going to be more advantageous to them. And then some of the alums have offered their time and efforts to talk to them to the if you're in sales and marketing or security or computers and stuff like that. So anyway, it's a networking program that the guys doing that on the alumni board are just working their butts off. It's really, really a cool deal that they're. And again, it's getting people reconnected to the school and in your career, obviously.
I got to take part in a program that the Hurtado Scholars is doing now with their graduates, because now we have a good group of graduates out in college and some that have recently graduated, called the Compañeros program, which is kind of going to be an offshoot of Rock Connect in a way, but specifically looking at our students that are first-generation college students. So their mom or dad didn't go to college, and they've never really known or understood how to go to the next step. So how do I network? How do I go out and look for internships? How do I engage on my college campus? Things like that we take for granted. I mean, both my parents went to college, so I had the wisdom that they could share with me. I had an older brother in college that shared a lot of advice. So we had a bunch of alums come in and meet with those guys last summer and kind of do exactly that. What was nice is they had each boy get up and introduce themselves and say what they're majoring in and kind of what they're interested in. And then the alums kind of found them and said, hey, I work in this industry. It's similar to what you're doing. Let me tell you a little bit about it. And it was a great, great experience. So like you said, I mean, I think that we advertise these opportunities out, but if you aren't sure and you want to get connected, Meredith Suarez in our alumni office is your contact, or reach out to John. He's our volunteer coordinator. I'm sure he won't turn you away.
I know everything. And, even the newsletter that Meredith puts out is a great reference piece. I mean, my golly, it goes on for page after page after page of activities, and Meredith just does a fantastic job with that. All of you do on getting that out. And if people just look through that a little bit, they'll find all kinds of opportunities.
Yeah. I think it's really great, too, to kind of see if you're not sure what's going on at Rockhurst, what's changed, what's evolving. It's a great way to kind of get caught up.
No, I get caught up. Pardon me. I get caught up on it every now and then as well, and I'm supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sure. Well, gang, here's the question of all questions we always ask.
I'll give a few bucks.
That's a good question, though.
But we'll take that.
Okay.
And I'm very interested. I love asking folks this question. If you could tell a prospective family the number one reason they should send their son to Rockhurst, what would it be, in your opinion?
Education and community. Education's just top notch. I mean, all the data shows that, so that's a no-brainer. But just to get a community of friends that will hopefully be with you forever.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to talk to a student, I'll say, urge them to get involved. And Jim already said it earlier, get involved in everything. And then drop the things that you just can't handle anymore and add to something else.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, I would tag along with what Johnny said. Definitely community support. I mean, it's going to be with you the rest of your life if you accept it and get involved. I mean, education, you can get a good education in this area in a lot of the different schools, Blue Valley, Shawnee Mission, Olathe, but you can't get the community. And that community carries with you on and on in your life. So that's what I would tell a prospective student and their family, and also that I sent two of my kids here. So I do believe in Rockhurst.
Show off.
Well, how many did you send?
0.
Oh.
But we moved away.
Yeah.
We moved away. We were gone for a long time.
You weren't
here. A long time.
That was not
And I also think
fair.
that the religious part is, I don't know if we talk about that enough. To get that base into our system is just, I think, a huge benefit to going to Rockhurst.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments from Night at the Rock this year is one of our seniors, Isaac, talked about what it meant to be religious and the kind of construct of the grad, but specifically for him and his time at Rockhurst. He's a transfer. He was a junior transfer as well. And he talked about how moving to Rockhurst has deeply enriched his spiritual life. And he talked about he got invited to go on a discernment retreat, the Jesuits down in Dallas, and kind of talked all through his experience. And then about 2 days later, I got an email from a mom that was in the audience. And she said, hey, do you think that kid would be willing to come and talk to our confirmation class? Because he just did such a great job of talking about why faith is so important to him. So I agree with you. I think the faith foundation is super important, and maybe something that we don't tote as much as we should, because it's happening. You guys have seen that through the retreat program, through the days of service, through your own experience, but maybe that is something we need to be shouting from the rooftops more often.
I agree. I don't think we do it enough.
Yeah.
And I think I'm starting to see it in my neighborhood, because there's a family that are not Catholic. You can't say a bad thing about Rockhurst to them. Mm-hmm. They have a son here now who just thinks, and the mother and the father think this is one of the best things that has happened in their lives. And
yeah.
So I go along with Johnny. Yeah, I think the faith and the religion that's here, started by Father Martins, Father Steiner, and some of the great priests from the past. It's here. Mm-hmm. It lurks in the hallway. Whether you want it or not, it's going to catch you.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be up to you to discern what you want to do with it. But it's here, and maybe we need, like Johnny says, to promote that a little bit stronger.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you being here. This is always the joy of my week, being able to get on this podcast and talk to different folks. And I just want to say thank you, and young man to other young men.
Oh, I like that.
I appreciate,
right, give
you
the money,
guys,
Johnny.
you guys' commitment to, the brotherhood. And I mean, genuinely from 63 to now, still rolling. That's inspiring and convicting in a way, for me to look at my circle and where I can tighten up with some of my guys. So I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Community, this is the Rock Talk, another episode that we're closing out, and we'll talk soon.